Hey, want to have coffee? Let's talk about grief. I feel like everyone has experienced grief at some point in their life. The older you get, the more real that becomes. I know that oftentimes we don't know what to say when that happens, and we don't know the right course of action to take and what is normal for that. And I really just think that it depends. That's the answer. It depends. Every person processes trauma differently. Every person processes grief differently. So maybe I throw myself into work. I bury myself in things that I can control because the other things are just too scary. Other people might need to stay in bed for a week. I know the last few days I have slept more than I have in months just because the immediacy is over. We like to compare our grief. We like to say, oh, well, at least it wasn't this, or at least it wasn't that. Grief is grief. I don't care what kind you deal with. I don't care how much of it you deal with. It still is very, very real. In our case, my partner had lost his mom in the last 2 weeks. And then we lost our dog, our baby, our 12-year-old baby. And he was our whole world. Everything we did revolved around that dog. And so everything we do is a reminder that he's gone. But we also recognize that we need to cherish the memories that we had of both my mother-in-law and Tucker. And we know that we need to move on. And we know that they're in a better place. And we know that they're not in pain and they're not suffering. And maybe that's the gift out of all of this. I just don't want to end up in a comparison model where you have to compete, because it's not a competition. People say it's just a dog. And for some people that might be true. He was our best friend. So there's that. But also just in general, people don't know what to say. They just don't know what to say. And the answer is, I know for me, I appreciate people just touching base. Just saying, hey, I see you. I recognize the season that you're in. And if there is anything I can do, let me know. Maybe someone else just wants to be left alone. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to publicly deal with it. They don't want to process it that way. They need time to just sit in it. And sometimes that difference happens within the same household. And your instinct is to help. And your instinct is to be present and be there if they need something. And some people think that's smothering. So I think the key to this whole conversation is you have to do what works for you. If that means that someone else isn't comfortable with that, that is not on you. Let them handle it their way, and you can handle it yours. And at the end, recognize that you have someone in your life that you cared enough about to feel that way. Otherwise, it would be just another thing on the news that happened. Feel it. Live in it. Remember it fondly. And give yourself the grace to just be. To just take the time that you need to process it in whatever way that works for you.